Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, the Millennial Investor, and today we're going to be going over the top 10 stocks that every dividend investor should own. And these are the stocks that you should be buying and holding forever. We're going to be going through a ton of different investor relations pages to a lot of these top different companies, and some of these companies are absolutely incredible. The products that they offer, the financials, the profitability behind these companies, these are the type of stocks that no matter what happens with their dividends, there's a 99% chance that these are the type of companies that you probably want to own till the day that you die. So I'll be going over the 10 companies in this list and show you how incredible some of the financial power behind these companies are. And to get started, I want to go ahead and start with this list, and I want to show you. I'll be going through each 10 of these lists. These are the 10 stocks I'll recommend, and I'll be going through each and every one of them, why you should be buying them. But overall, guys, a quick introduction to me. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Jordan. I'm the Millennial Investor, and I track my annual dividend income, my monthly dividend income, my portfolio value, and my YouTube income, which hardly any other YouTuber discloses. I will be updating this chart in the very next video. So if you want to check out the next video, I am updating all these charts for the month of August. So check that out if you want to stay for the next video. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. And there's my YouTube income broke down by section. You can pause the screen anytime if you want to see any of this. And my portfolio, we have had a lot of different people sign up. One of the ways that you can help support me and my channel is you can sign up using this referral link. This is a referral link to M1 Finance. This brokerage that you're going to be seeing throughout this video is M1 Finance. They charge no commissions. They are perfect, especially for dividend investors, and I think that they are an excellent brokerage. And if you're interested with signing up with them, just go ahead and check out that referral link, and you can get $10 for signing up absolutely free. So go ahead and check that out, and there's lots of other things in that description as well you can check out. But let's go ahead and get started with the number one dividend stock to buy and hold forever is going to be Realty Income. Now, you see here their portfolio, 6,500 properties, 98.5 portfolio occupancy, and then 50 different industries. If we go to their main tab here, let's go to the main page because I want to show this snapshot real quick. You can see how it says 15.3 compounded average annual return since 1994. So over a 26-year period, 15.3% average return. $7.1 billion in monthly, not quarterly, monthly dividends being paid out every single 30 days. 51-year track record providing dependable monthly income. 51 years of consecutive dividend growth, and you can see here 91 consecutive quarterly. So every 3 months you're getting a raise, and you're getting paid out every single month rather than every quarter off of most of these stocks. It has paid out 601 consecutive monthly payments, and you can see a snapshot of how many properties they have and the locations where they're at. So I want to go ahead and go to their portfolio, and I want to go to portfolio occupancy. And this is the reason why this company is going to thrive in the long run. Do you see this chart going all the way back to 1992? You can see that through the best times, through the worst times, all the way going back from 1992 all the way up to Q2 of 2020, where we're at right now, you can see that they always have an extremely high portfolio occupancy. They usually have 98, 99% plus of their tenants paying rent and they're occupied in those buildings that they owned. Not to mention the number of properties that they have increase almost every single year. You can see they started out with 600 properties in 1992. Then they went up to 631, 630, about flat, 685, 700, 800, 900, 1,000, 1,000 again, 1,100, 1,100, 14, 15, 16, 19, 2,000, and you see where we go, and it just keeps on going up and up, and now we're all the way up to Realty Income owning over 6,500 different properties and all different customers, all different clients, and all different types of industries, primarily focusing on the retail sector, while that vacant properties has just barely budged, just gradually, just barely went up. And basically, whether you believe Realty Income is going to be successful is whether or not you believe that real estate is going to be a thing of the future. Are people always going to need a place to live? Yes. Are retail outlets always going to need buildings to sell products? Yes. Are warehouses always going to need a place to ship their products? Is agriculture always going to need farmland? All these different types of scenarios is perfect for Realty Income because if you need a plot of land or a building to sell or create something in, that is where Realty Income steps in place, and they raise their rents for their tenants, and they have excellent investment grade customers. So overall, guys, Realty Income, that is just a long-term buy. And by the way, all 10 of these stocks I do own in my portfolio. Realty Income is the second largest holding in my portfolio, so that is a great buy there. And speaking of my top holdings in my portfolio, let's go to the third largest holding. Let's go ahead and go straight into Visa stock. Now, one of the reasons why I love Visa is because they have such a long-term opportunity ahead. While their dividend is quite small, it is not nearly as high as Realty Income, which, by the way, I forgot to mention. Realty Income currently has a 4.35% dividend. Now, Visa has a much smaller dividend and is actually the smallest yielding stock in my portfolio. But one of the reasons why I own Visa is not so much for its dividend today, but the dividends and the long-term growth outlook for the company as a whole over the next 10, 20 years. Now, that dividend is due for a dividend raise a couple weeks from now, and they only offer a 0.53% dividend yield. But when we look at Visa and all of what they have to offer, Visa is number 2 on the list. Visa has an excellent growth story. Considering that they're one of the largest companies in the world, they're still growing at a rapid pace. Let's see 2017, 2018, and 2019 numbers, and this is the total volume through payment system through their credit cards and their mobile applications. $10.3 trillion in 2017. Next year, 2018, $11.3 trillion. And now in 2019, they have 11.6. And now in 2020, those numbers are yet to come out, but you can see the payments volume going up. The transactions number are going up. And the credit cards that they have issued are going up as well. And the revenues are just steadily going up from 18,000 to 20,000. Now they're up almost to 23,000 in fiscal year 2019. These are their GAAP numbers and non-GAAP numbers, and you can see their revenues, operating expenses, operating income, net income, all that type of stuff. And speaking of net income, just go ahead and take a glance at this real quick. 6,700, 10,000, 12,000. Their net income has nearly doubled up in 2 years. 2 years. The margins on this is incredible. And I'll give you one piece of information for Visa. If you're not bullish on it yet, I think that there's one piece of information that I think is pretty incredible for Visa if you haven't thought about it already. Now you see this is their core business, and this is how their business model flows. Their core business is between their core products of credit cards, their partnerships with high-end clients, their ventures, their access and acceptance, their e-commerce, and their tap-to-pay features. The new payment flows is where they're at now, which is government to consumer, business to business, business to consumer, and peer-to-peer. That is mostly what is focusing on here. Is their peer-to-peer, a definitely high growth category with their recent acquisition from Plaid and other categories like that. They also have their value-added services, which includes merchant and acquirer solutions, consulting and analytics, and fraud management and security services. But this core business is what makes up the most of their revenues. But overall, when we look at this core business, what's really interesting here, you see how they have this just revolution, just ecosystem of products all around mobile and virtual payments. And something that's really interesting here, you see that incredible growth number, you see that they have awesome margins, they're extremely profitable. One thing that's really interesting about Visa is that 85% of the world's financial transactions are still done in cash. 85%. So you think about how profitable, you think about how large Visa is, and the fact that they only have 15% of the market tapped into, and this stock has performed incredible, a $420 billion company. The fact that they only have 15% of the global market tapped into is absolutely incredible. So I think this company can easily double, triple, quadruple, 5 times revenues over the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years over the long term. So I think that this stock is going to be an excellent purchase for someone that's young that wants to hold the stock over the next couple of decades. Let's go ahead and look at number 1. This one I did not pull up their investor relations page just because it's just so general and so basic and so easy. One of my top holdings that I've been increasing my position a lot in, as you can see from these big jump ups, JP Morgan Chase. They have a almost on the dot 3.5% dividend yield. And basically, are you bullish on the banking sector? Do you think that banks in the long run will always be profitable? I think so. In 2019, they made over $30 billion in net income. 30 billion with a B. You can see if their share price goes up, they do share repurchases, they do dividend payments, dividend raises, and JP Morgan, basically, if you think banks are going to stay here in the United States forever, then JP Morgan is one of the best one owns. They have the largest imprint on the economy, they have an excellent way of creating value for shareholders, and I think that JP Morgan in the long run, it's just such an easy money stock considering that these banks are basically government backed. Now, while it's not easy to say that any stock is government backed, do you ever think, you've seen this year how the Fed that is printing money like crazy, do you think that the Fed or the government will ever let a stock as big as JP Morgan go under just because the economy's at a downturn? I don't think so. We've seen bailouts in 2020. We've seen bailouts in 2008, 2009. I don't think that JP Morgan is a stock that I will ever see go bankrupt, and it will probably outlive this country, if not definitely my life for sure. So JP Morgan is an easy money stock there. And let's go ahead and move on to number 4. The number 4 stock I'm going to group together with number 5, Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Now, I am both of these, and they're one of the largest holdings in my portfolio. Pepsi making up 5%, Coca-Cola making up 4%. And if we go to their investor relations page here, let's just glance through some of their brands that they have. Pepsi, Pure Leaf, Mountain Dew, Bubbly, Gatorade. You see that they have a number, including their partnership with Starbucks. They have a huge number of beverages. And not to mention, not only do they have tons of different beverages, all these ones that I just scrolled through right here, what I believe there's 26 beverages here, I think. If we go to their food category, they have tons of snack brands as well. Cheetos, Lay's, Doritos, Quaker Oats, Fritos, Tostitos. I literally ate those this morning. I think that they have so many dominant brands that if you believe that in the long run people are going to continue to need something to drink and eat snack foods, Pepsi is going to be successful in the long run. And you can see, just like Coca-Cola, they raise their dividend every single year. You can see Pepsi currently has a 2.78% dividend yield. Their dividend gets raised every single year. They do share repurchases, and they are currently rising that stock price every year like clockwork. And the same thing goes for Coca-Cola. Nothing much different other than Pepsi, other than the fact that they don't have snack foods. They only have drink brands. But Coca-Cola, 3.25% dividend yield, raises that dividend annually, share repurchases, share price growth, you name it. They got the full 9 yards, just like Pepsi and all these other stocks that I'm mentioning. But overall, if you believe that people are going to need something to drink over the next 100 years, then Pepsi and Coca-Cola is definitely going to be around to see that happen. Next up, we're going to go over to number 6 because we grouped number 4 and number 5 together, Pepsi and Coca-Cola. We're going to go to number 6, which is 3M. Now 3M, you see that they have their different categories. They're in all different types of areas. And when we go over here to M1 Finance and we see my holding through 3M, 3M has a portfolio of products that is incredible. They have an incredible sized portfolio, and they have over 56,000 products. You heard me right. 56,000. We talked about Pepsi having 20 beverage brands and about 20 or 30 different types of snack food brands. Well, 3M has 56,000 industrial products that they make in all different shapes and form, from insulation to houses, for electrical components, for machinery parts, to basic just scotch tape and sticky notes. You name it. They have 56,000 products that is diversified through all different areas of the economy. That's how they're able to raise that dividend every single year for 50 plus years, and they have a 3.5% dividend yield. And 3M is a very profitable company. And basically, the way I look at it is, when you have 56,000 products, while you might have a couple thousand that are maybe lagging, not doing as good as the other ones, you still have 50, 40,000 products that are extremely profitable, growing every year, and I think that in the long run, 3M is an easy money stock. You can see here their different categories that they had sales in. They had safety and industrial, 36%, 30% in transportation and electronics, 23% in healthcare, and 16% in consumer, mostly diversified between these 4 top categories where most of their revenues come from. And you can see the different categories that they come from inside of this. In their safety and industrial, they have 30% in personal safety, 24% in adhesive and tapes, 12% in abrasives, 11% in automotive, 10% in electrical, 10% in enclosure, and then 3% in roofing. And then you see in the transportation sector, they have 39% in electronics, 20% in automotive and aerospace, 18% in commercial solutions, 13% in advanced materials, 10% in transportation safety. Healthcare, they have 46% in medical solutions, 18% in oral care, 16% in health information systems, 10% in separation and purification sciences, 5% in drug delivery, 5% in food safety, and on the consumer side, 45% in home improvement, 27% stationery and office, 20% home care, and last but not least, 8% in consumer healthcare. You can see that all the different products is diversified between all different types of categories. So even if 1 or 2 of these categories is doing horrible, the rest of them are thriving and doing incredible. And not to mention, of all years with 2020, with a pandemic breaking out, they are the world's largest manufacturer of face masks. So they have definitely been able to benefit from that 100% in this recession. Let's go ahead and go to number 7, and McDonald's is a stock that I think, once again, very similar to a Coca-Cola and Pepsi. If you think people are going to need something to eat and to drink, They are the largest restaurant chain in the entire world. When it comes to McDonald's, they just find a way to stay profitable and keep on growing their businesses. They keep on building new restaurants, they raise the prices on their menu, they have ways to kind of twist up and keep the menu fresh and keep people coming back. And one thing that's incredible about McDonald's is that they target children. They target kids that are 5 years old, 10 years old, and they get them to love their food, and then they hold those customers for decades. They're not looking to get someone to eat McDonald's for a year or two. They're targeting clients, in this case kids, to buy their food for 50, 60, 70 years, an entire human lifetime, and that is how McDonald's has stayed profitable and kept a huge client base. And as the population grows globally, as the inflation takes place and they raise their prices, McDonald's is going to keep finding ways to be more and more profitable each year more than the last. And I think McDonald's is a long-term buy in my opinion. And I think just if you believe that restaurants are going to be a thing of the future, if they're going to be around 100 years from now, then I think you have to have a piece of McDonald's. And they have excellent dividend growth and share price growth as well. Let's go to number 8. Let's go to Johnson & Johnson. And let's just look at how incredible some of these statistics are. I like numbers, so let's go ahead and start with this. 36 consecutive years of operational adjusted and earnings growth. You see, if we go down here, you see my position in Johnson & Johnson. It makes up 3% of my portfolio. They currently have a 2.5% dividend, and that's while they're basically at an all-time high. If we go back here, you see they have 58 years of consecutive years of dividend increases. 58 years. That is so long. Most of you watching this video right now are not 58 years old. They have 11.8% of 10-year total return to shareholders, way outperforming that of what's typical in the average of the S&P. 11.8% is pretty incredible over a 10-year average. 25% of sales coming from products launched in the past 5 years, and then 70% of sales coming from 1 or 2 global market share positions. Now this little area right here, this little tab, 25% of sales coming from products launched in the past 5 years. What's really interesting, what is really awesome about this tab is that it shows that they're continually creating new products, and that makes up a large part of where their revenues are coming from. Not from old boring products that they made 100 years ago, which not that that's wrong, but they are continually finding ways to increase revenues through new products. So that is pretty awesome there. And if you want to just pause the video at any time on any of these pages, because there's way too much to go over with Johnson & Johnson, you can see their cash flow goes up every year. You can see a lot of their statistics and performance. And overall, I just think they're an excellent company to own. And if basically the same way I said with Coca-Cola, if you believe people are going to drink drinks, if you believe that some people are going to need some form of health care, whether that be hospitals, basic Band-Aids and baby powder, whatever that may be, Johnson & Johnson is going to be around for the long term, and they're going to be extremely profitable and pay dividends in the meantime. Now let's go ahead and go to the next one. Let's go ahead and go to number 9, Procter Gamble. And I want to scroll through real quick all the different brands that they have. I won't name them off one by one because that would take forever. But as I scroll through these, tell me if these brands, if you have either used them recently or maybe even bought them this week. I use a huge number of these brands. I just washed my clothes with Tide literally earlier. I use Bounty paper towels to clean my countertops. I use Charmin to wipe. I've used Puffs as tissues. All these different brands are huge name brands that every single person knows in their basic daily household, and they don't even think about buying these. These are extremely defensive regardless of what financial situation they're in. A lot of people consider these essentials. They need these products to function in their household. They don't think about, do they need to buy them? Can they afford them? They just get them and they don't even worry about it, because a lot of these products are not high-end products. They're not $50 a piece. They're not $100 a piece. These are things that pretty much every single person can afford. But basically, if you believe that all of these products that I just named, if at least some of them are going to be around in the next couple of decades, over the next 100 years, then you should totally be buying Johnson & Johnson. Not to mention, if you don't even believe in these brands, anytime that some brand comes up and gets a significant part of the market share in any one of these categories, grooming, healthcare, feminine care, family care, cleaning, whatever that may be, anytime a product comes up and starts to take a large part of the market share, guess what Procter & Gamble does? They just buy out that company and then they reap the profits off it. That's why Procter & Gamble, even throughout a recession, is now at an all-time high and still offering a 2+% dividend yield. You can see in 2019, 2020, it hit about a $125 high. Well, today it's nearly at $140. It actually broke almost $140 just the other day. So overall, Procter & Gamble is a long-term buy. If you're wanting to buy this stock, you should not be focused on what price you're buying at. You should be dollar cost averaging, buying the stock every single week. Last but not least, let's go ahead and get to number 10. Number 10 on the list is Kimberly-Clark. And Kimberly-Clark is a company that I think is very similar to a Proctor Gamble, a very safe long-term play, very defensive in pretty much any economic environment. And this has a 2.7% dividend yield and is once again, just like Procter & Gamble, at an all-time high. You see all these brands right here, Cottonelle, Huggies, Pull-Ups, Kleenex, Scott. You can see that all these products that Kimberly-Clark has to offer has incredible brand power. 1/4 of the world population uses one of our products every day. See that tab? I'm going to say it again. 1/4 of the world population uses one of their products every day. They already have such a dominant market share that 25%, billions of people over the globe, find a way to use Kimberly-Clark every single day, and that number is going nothing but up every single year. In more than 175 countries is where these brands are sold. They have 18.5 billion in sales in 2019, and they are doing nothing but going up in stock price, doing nothing but raising those dividends every year. And I think that Kimberly-Clark is just one of those stocks that you have to own if you believe that people are ever going to use toilet paper, paper towels, any type of napkins, or any type of things like that, diapers. If you believe that people are going to use these things decades out from now, then Kimberly-Clark is a stock that you want to own. But overall, guys, that pretty much wraps it up for this video. These stocks are the type of stocks you want to own for the long term and hold over decades out. This is not the type of stock that you want to buy in a year from now, try to flip for a quick profit. These are the stocks that you want to invest in literally for a lifetime. So if you watch all the way to the end of this video and you want to support me, once again, I have all this information. I will be updating this in the very next video. These are the 10 stocks you should be buying and holding forever. So if you want to go ahead and support me, like I said, links in the description. Go ahead and sign up. I've had 26 people sign up. Go ahead and be the 27th. Leave a comment down below what you thought about this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next time.